Good morning, everyone, and welcome. My name is Jessica Drude Paz, and I serve as the Director of Mindfulness Programs and as a clinical psychologist at the UC Irvine Susan Samueli Integrative Health Institute. Thank you for joining us for Integrative Insider Live, our free community lecture series. During these events, we share insights on integrative whole person health. And afterward, registrants receive a follow-up email with a link to the recorded session. Our main clinic, which is here on the UC Irvine campus, is designed to empower you on your whole person health journey. We also offer integrative services at UCI Health sites in Newport Beach near Fashion Island, at the Pacific Breast and Oncology Hematology at Pacific Medical Plaza in Costa Mesa, and in Yorba Linda and Laguna Hills. Before we start, I'd like to share a few housekeeping items. We are recording this session. Afterward, you will receive an email with a link to the recording. And to minimize distractions, attendees' microphones are set to mute with videos off. Please utilize the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen for any questions or to communicate with us during this session. And after the presentation, I will moderate a Q&A session. So now on to the main event. This morning, we have Mirjam Luthe and Shannon Jordan, who will co-facilitate nature awareness, connecting with yourself, others, and the planet, which is a virtual course starting October 3rd. Mirjam supports individuals, groups, teams, and projects with awareness and compassion-based interventions to reconnect with self, others, and the natural world. She has her MA in European Studies and her BA in Development Cooperation and NGO Management from Spain, as well as 15 years of consultancy work in international development cooperation, and she has worked and lived on many continents. Mirjam is a certified teacher in mindfulness-based stress reduction, mindful self-compassion, hatha yoga, awake in the wild, nature meditation, mindfulness-based sustainable transformation, and earth awareness. She has also coordinated the areas of teacher relations and international engagement at the Center for Mindful Self-Compassion. She is an intervention trainer for dyadic meditation and mindfulness at the Social Neuroscience Lab, Max Planck Society in Berlin, and contributes to University of Zurich's master's program, Regenerative Systems, and the Living Systems Lab at Monviso Institute in Italy. Mirjam speaks German, English, French, Spanish, Italian, and basic Portuguese. She is a lover of being in nature, hiking long distance, biology, arts, music, and dance. Next, Shannon is a certified mindfulness-based stress reduction teacher who integrates nature and environmental awareness into her facilitation. As someone who cares deeply about the health of our planet, people, and ecosystems, Shannon completed the MBSR Eco Awareness Pilot Program funded through the Best Family Foundation, certification as a mindfulness-based sustainable transformation teacher through the Inner Green Deal in Europe, and certification as a lifestyle and wellness coach through Harvard Medical School. She serves on the mindfulness faculty for the UC-wide Climate Resilience Course Initiative and teaches community and workplace programs for the Center for Mindfulness at UC San Diego Health. Shannon also provides holistic leadership development through her work as an executive coach. Please join me in welcoming both Mirjam and Shannon to Integrative Insider Live.
Thank you. Dr. Jess, warm welcome to you all. We are happy to be with you for this time together. Shannon, I would like to present to you the background for this course, then the content, methodology, and a bit of research. And hopefully it's an engaged session with a little bit of practice that we weave in. So for the teacher training that we went through, we were the first cohort, and there were 40 individuals being trained across the world, and 170 plus are trained by now. Yeah, and it was a very engaging experience that we want to share here with you. So a little bit about the developer of this course that you see announced as Nature Awareness, Connecting to Self, Others, and the Planet. You see here the name Inner Green Deal training. So what is Inner Green Deal? Inner Green Deal is an NGO offering evidence-based and mindfulness-based leadership programs, cultivating especially collaboration and systems thinking, also qualities like compassion and care. It has arisen out of the Inner Green Deal. And the Green Deal, so for those who are in Europe, they know since 2020 an agreement on policies towards shifting towards a greener and understanding how climate change needs to be understood and policies to be taken. There the name Inner Green Deal comes from. And these programs by now, they run with the European Union, UNDP, and other major organizations. And it's really grounded in the understanding that to make a difference in the world, it's essential to also strengthen the inner dimensions of sustainability, often overseen, even not being researched so much until now. The Inner Green Deal is based in Cologne and Brussels, and it's a growing community around the world by now. What the teacher training has as major aim, and you as hopefully course participants will get a taste of, is this theme of regenerative leadership. So coming together from diverse backgrounds and really empowering our essence, what also our questioning our values and core beliefs, and what drives us and what motivates us to ignite others also on this journey where you work, and really experience the energy of contributing together to a shift that is dearly needed. For the background for what especially inspires us, in addition to what you're hearing right now here, is that the core belief that inner development is a larger level for systems change. This is very key here and significantly underexplored, under-researched, and underutilized. So the Inner Green Deal has been collaborating since 2020 with Lund University Center, Sweden, Center for Sustainability Studies, one of the leading environmental centers in the world. And so benefit from in-depth pre- and post-program evaluations, and they regularly co-publish articles and papers. The researcher behind this, and we are lucky that we may hopefully have Christine Wamslas also in the course for a moment in person. Her research interests are sustainable development, climate change, action, resilience, and associated inner and outer transformation processes. And these levers that can help make a shift really run through our course program here, other than the mere concentration on technical solutions. you will see a little later on when we come to the methodology, particularly for this course, is also that we invite you for practices in nature, because the ripple effect of nature connectedness is something that we can, I think many of us know by experience, and research helps a lot in that sense to show that we are nature, and connecting to nature with this wording by themed nature walks and practices during the week can bring us into conversation after the experiences that you have had during the course sessions of our course. So it's very much based also in experience, and connecting to senses, and pausing, in sensing our relationship and remembering our relationship with nature as nature. Next slides will be where Shannon helps us to see what this is exactly about, now that you've heard a bit about the background.
Thank you, Mirjam, and hello, good morning, everyone. We are so excited about this joint collaboration and the opportunity to support our communities rather at the intersection of mental health and eco-awareness, as Mirjam mentioned. And we've scheduled this online fall course based on the curriculum of the Inner Green Deal that you just saw. And we're calling it Nature Awareness, connecting with yourself, others, and the planet. And so to set the stage for why we think this is an important course to offer now, let me just share some statistics with you. A 2024 Lancet Planetary Health Study assessed more than 15,000 young Americans across 50 states and found that 85% of respondents reported being at least moderately worried about climate change and its impacts on people and the planet. 58% were very worried or extremely worried, and 43% indicated some sort of negative impact on self-reported mental health. And of course, you don't have to be a young person to feel overwhelmed living in an era marked by pandemics and political strife, social injustice, war, ecological disasters, and so forth. And the predicament that we find ourselves in entails complexities beyond climate, right? Earning it the labels like polycrisis or global crises. And Christine Wamsler's research suggests that these global crises are fundamentally relationship crises. We've not only lost a sense of connection with nature that generations had before us, we've come to see our fellow humans in other terms, and we've even lost touch with what truly supports our well-being and our flourishing as individuals. So let me just unpack this a little bit, because none of this happened overnight, right? We humans have a long history with the story of separation, a story that has been happening over the centuries. The scientific revolution transformed our view of the world from an animated, organic, interconnected one to one that valued rational thinking, logic, independence. And this transformation in thinking had deep implications for the relationship between humans and nature. We began to view others as competitors. In our organizations, we perpetuate a way of thinking that's competitive rather than collaborative, driven by extrinsic motivations. We view life on Earth as a never-ending competition for survival, driven by dominance, the survival of the fittest. We see nature as something that is separate from us, as resources to use, which in turn reinforces our separation from it. And humans are taught to believe that we're the most important species and that nature is made for us as a resource. And as such, our living mystical planet has been transformed into something that can be conquered, controlled, exploited, farmed, mined for our benefit and economic gain. And in economies today, success is typically defined as growing GDP, right? For individuals in Western societies, it's often about bigger house, bigger car, more stuff. We've really lost touch with the natural rhythm of things. Change is something we hope happens to others, if it happens at all. But of course, this is not how change happens. It doesn't happen in linear steps in the natural world. And paradoxically, now in 2026, we're more connected than ever through our mobile devices, right? But we find ourselves in an epidemic of loneliness, disconnected from our true selves, from others, and from nature around us. And there's a beautiful quote by Charles Eisenstein that stresses the opportunity for a reversal of this kind of thinking as less independent and separate from nature and more interconnected to all life on Earth. We need to have a much bigger lens. We need to be protecting entire ecosystems of biological life. We are because the Earth is. We are because the trees are. We are because the oceans are. We are because the honeybees are. And you might find what I've shared so far resonates with you, or you might find it about activating, right, at the mental or emotional levels. And so I'd like to turn it back to Mirjam now to share a cornerstone of this course, which is an opportunity for a short mindfulness practice.
Thank you, Shannon. Yeah, wherever you are right now, see what makes sense for you. And maybe just resting back for a moment if you're sitting, or just relaxing some parts of your body. If you're standing, maybe you're walking. Just take a deep breath and maybe detach for a moment your eyes from the screen. Maybe there's a tree or sky that you see where you are. Just allow that moment of spaciousness for yourself, even in the midst of this moment here. Take a deep breath. See whether there's some more way in softening the belly or in the chest. Any other place in your body right now. You feel where you can relax a little bit and pause for a moment, just noticing how you are. In this moment, maybe allowing some movement in your neck, another place where it feels good to sense your body from inside. Feels easy. Eyes can be open or closed. Take a moment to settle into your whole body and experiencing what is here now. Noticing the contact, maybe through your soles of your feet or the hips, with the stability that is holding you, gravity touching the earth, chair, allowing for some uprightness in your spine. And with that, allowing also the breath to flow easier, maybe, or a bit deeper, not needing to change anything. Just for a few seconds. Noticing the expansion, contraction with each in-breath, relaxation with out-breath. Maybe you sense the movement into your belly, even in the back of your spine, just by each breath coming and going. The whole body breathing in and out, nurturing all cells with the in-breath, oxygen, and breathing out, relaxing. And with the next in-breath, feeling the movement of in, simply become aware of where the oxygen comes from that you inhale, all the greenery and maybe the trees in your garden, the algae, the plankton, and the carbon dioxide that you exhale, being taken in by all plants and trees and transformed again to oxygen that you inhale. Beautiful, quite miraculous, mutual interdependency. Maybe enjoy the next in-breath and out-breath. And then ending this little practice, knowing this is something you can always do in between, and very gently, even just a few seconds of pausing and creating space and remembering the interconnectedness that we all share.
Oh, thank you, Mirjam, for that practice. Lovely. And coming to terms with our true nature, reconnecting with ourselves, with others, and then the natural world, and really understanding that we are nature is the key to healing this story of separation. And the course is really designed to help participants dive more deeply into all of the ways that our minds reinforce a sense of disconnection and how we can cultivate awareness through stillness, like the practice that Mirjam just led. And that awareness in turn gives rise to compassionate action when we realize the interconnectedness of our lives. And the aspiration is that we realize only through joining hands and collaborating together can we truly have the impact that we seek. And so the course journey follows a U-shaped learning arc, and this really supports participants to move from awakening into action and a sense of agency. And I'll just say a few more words about the goals of the course. Overarching goal is to really link it to our own inner development with an outer sustainable choices and action. So to provide that link between inner and outer, and really bring this all to life in a practical and an embodied way. For example, in the course, we explore how mindful awareness can help us close that gap between what we know and what we actually do. We look at how our personal and our collective habits influence the systems around us and how those patterns can shift when we work from the inside out. And this is also a journey of reconnection, coming back to your own values, your sense of purpose, your unique role in sustainable transformation. And at the same time, building relationships with like-minded individuals from across the US, if not the globe. And we'll be cultivating core inner capacities like compassion, courage, and awareness. And these are really essential for navigating the uncertainty we face, for staying grounded, for managing strong emotions, and boosting resilience. And importantly, we'll bring all of this into action through collaborations on real initiatives that we refer to as handprint projects, which Mirjam will share a bit more in a few moments. And so through the experience of the course, we cultivate these 5 inner qualities: awareness, compassion, courage, gratitude, and resilience. And the course is really based on 4 pillars. We like to say it's nature inspired, it's science informed, it's wisdom rooted, and systems oriented. So let's look a little bit into that. So there are contemplative practices like the one Mirjam just led. There are wisdom traditions like nature walks, for example. There are collaborative exercises, mindful listening, storytelling, and of course, systems thinking lies at the heart of the course methodology. And so I'd like to turn it over to Mirjam to share a little bit more about this handprint project that the participants engage in.
Yeah, this is another particular feature of this course, and it's quite lovely. It can be very small, sometimes just maybe because of the wish to collaborate among the participants can be a bit more bigger, coming into really a collective action. So here the choice and our guidance for you will be from the start on to become aware of actions and bring them really into awareness with things that you would like to do, that you would like to collaborate on, that maybe you intended to since a longer time, or they're already part of your life and you just want to really deepen them also by sharing about what you've experienced and what benefits you see. So contrasting with the footprint project that all of you guys are familiar with, traditional approach, in addition, bringing awareness to not only what are negative impacts of our individual choices. Choices come from values, belief systems, as said before, but also what is the positive change understood under that lens that we are training about systems thinking. What is positive change in the world that we can contribute to? And I guess all of you are here and are interested in such a course. There is a yearning for that, or there's really a deep sense of there's something probably together we can do better if we understand each other better, and really bring that into small collective actions. So this hopefully is inspiring for you. It's doable. It's very enjoyable also to hear from each other. Can be small, and it will be a beautiful way to engage with each other and not leave it in theory, because we're all actively engaged in many ways, and we can deepen that together in a wonderful group that supports each other. Between the modules, like the handprint project that we'll run through, the practices that we just had a little glimpse on, we'll have another one soon. There are the nature walks that you heard about. You will get audio and written guidance for those to do them daily, or maybe 3 times a week, even if it's short, just where you live. It needn't be, doesn't need a lot, can be in a park or even in your garden. And we'll invite an exchange on a platform. So really about the experience during the modules. So it's a live course, even between the sessions, without overwhelming anybody. You go with your own rhythm. It's a lot here about habit change. So you will get a workbook that helps you also to check on habits that you may want to change or already changing on the different levels, from individual to understand more systemic change in how our individual choices, of course, have to do with the collective. You'll get very interesting reading material in different ways, and we'll practice journaling too. So the engagement will be by option very broad, and at the same time, it will be doable for those who work or have a full schedule anyway. It will be enjoyable. That's our main invitation. For the research outcomes so far, so we quickly show them here. As you remember, the goals being presented before, this course has shown these 8 weeks that a number of positive outcomes became clear. For example, the awareness about climate change and the situation our planet and all life is in now has been raised. How we feel in that eco-anxiety as one term, challenging emotions that go with it, that we can turn towards them. There are the compassion practices coming next to the mindfulness practices of learning to accept and to befriend, to be with and deal with, find a different relationship to what is challenging for us. And you've seen the term compassion really as a quality being cultivated here by what we do together. And that extends, yes, to earth, nature. It extends to self. A lot begins here for ourselves, to hold us in midst of it all, and also stay with clarity for decision making and having a wider view of perspective taking where this is needed, and also for others. So being in dialogue, in communication, that's essential for teams, always, and especially in these times, to listen to each other. We train that here too, to the extent we can do this in such a course. And leading also to pro-environmental action, to use that term, self-efficacy, and really bringing in more depth and exchange about how aware are we about the systems we are part of, and bring awareness also to long-term thinking, not the benefit just for the short-sighted actions. This is key also, thinking about the future generations, the care that we bring to Earth and life on Earth in general. We're moving again, as we come slowly to an end, into a bit of a more spacious moment. We call it reflection here, and we invite you once more, closing your eyes or shifting your gaze from the screen for a moment where you find it enjoyable to rest your eyes. Take a deep breath maybe, and invitation to, just for this moment, recall a time in nature where you felt awe, where you felt fully alive, connected. Maybe something comes. And enjoy that feeling for a few breaths. And sensing really from the neck down into what is your current relationship with nature, maybe even as nature, as we named it here a few times. What supports you to feel and to remember that connection? Also, what might be getting in the way of feeling more connected, of remembering. Take another deep in breath and long out breath. Feel like. And Shannon will lead us over in a practice related to this brief reflection.
Thank you, Mirjam. So I'd like you just to look at this slide and consider what you feel, what comes up for you. Maybe a warmth in the heart or curiosity. So I'd like to lead you through a loving kindness practice from the Course. And this one is modified a little bit to include our earth and the natural world. Because by offering our intentions in this way, by offering compassion to all of our non-human friends, we strengthen our interconnectedness and our capacity for all ecosystems and beings in the natural world. So I'd like to invite you to just take a moment to connect with your body. Take a deep breath and exhale completely. And noticing what releases inside you as you exhale, perhaps letting the eyes gently close. And bring to mind, now in your mind's eye, someone you feel close to. Someone who naturally warms your heart. And let the image of this person arise in front of you. Recognize that this being, like you, breathes and ages, experiences sickness and desires love and freedom and pain and suffering to be alleviated. And I invite you to offer loving kindness and compassion. Wish this person well-being with a deep affection, using the phrases, may you be safe. May you be healthy and free from suffering. May you go through life with love and courage. And repeat these phrases in your mind, just being curious about what resonates within you. want to invite you to bring to mind the animal life, wildlife. Maybe this is a wild animal that you care about or you've seen near your home or in a nearby nature reserve, a deer, a bird, a squirrel. And imagine this animal in their natural habitat, breathing as you do, nurturing their offspring. And recognize how similar their needs are to ours and how these are challenged by modernization and climate change. And offer them your compassionate wishes. May you be safe. May you be healthy and free from suffering. May you live your natural life. And repeat these phrases gently in your mind. And now extend your compassionate intentions to include all flora and plant life. Bring to mind a forest, a meadow, a patch of wildflowers, a garden, or maybe a majestic tree in your vicinity. And recognize the gift of oxygen they provide to all living beings, the shade, the fruit, and that they too may be threatened by the ecological changes of our time. And offer them these phrases. May you be safe. May you be healthy and thrive. May you live your natural life. And now, by the power of our imagination, let's move out into space and turn and behold our own planet, our dear Mother Earth, our home, the source of all that we've ever known. And see it in your mind's eye, suspended there in the blackness of space, and feel how intensely you desire that it survive the mounting dangers and wounds of this time. And direct toward it the same current of loving kindness for its well-being and healing. May you be safe. May you be healthy. May all species and ecosystems upon you thrive. And now sending all your good wishes outward and turning inward to observe your own heart and mind. How do you feel? What do you notice in your body? What's resonating within you? Maybe you feel our shared nature, that our lives are interdependent and connected. Thank you for joining me in that short practice. And I invite you now to gently open your eyes and return to our call. And I'll hand it over to Mirjam.
Thank you, Shannon. Yeah, we come to the end and would like to read one quote that speaks quite deeply to, in a poetic way, to what you have heard, maybe understood, and can connect to before. So, in the end, Thich Nhat Hanh is sharing these words. We need to change our way of thinking and seeing things. We need to realize that the earth is not just our environment. The earth is not something outside of us. Breathing with mindfulness and contemplating your body, you realize that you are the earth. You realize that your consciousness is also the consciousness of the earth. Look around you. What you see is not your environment. It is you. Thich Nhat Hanh. For resources that maybe you are interested in looking up, we would like to recommend you to look up what, especially on the Inner Green Deal site, is posted, and Lund University. So there is the podcast, Inner Green podcast. You see a few examples here. And the white paper, The Human Dimension of the Green Deal, that shares more about the origins, bringing later on Inner Green Deal as an NGO forward, and then this course arising from it. And just a few of the research papers, Christine Wamsler was involved in all of these, especially, for sure, I think of interest is revolutionizing sustainability, leadership, and education, addressing the human dimension to support flourishing culture and system transformation, and also linking internal and external transformation for sustainability and climate action towards a new research and policy agenda. And also turns really towards mindfulness as a term and sustainability at the crossroads. So human and planetary well-being and transformation to be looked at, and how, together also in research we can even find new pathways that may be needed here to understand what Thich Nhat Hanh was sharing, that we read as a poem here, that we are Earth, it's not outside. So that brings us back to the start when we talked about the crisis of disconnection, of not understanding the interdependencies and all the relations that we are part of. This is our intention for this course in the fall, and really bring it as an experience to you, where the way it makes sense for you, that phase of your life, that really connect with like-minded others around the globe and explore these deep questions that so deserve also the pausing and this also, as you heard here now, contemplative approach in moments next to the research that is woven in and the activities that we're going to do together. So we hope this was engaging and encouraging for you. And I'll pass over to maybe Shannon for last words, and then the team, Jessica.
Yes, thank you, Mirjam. So lovely to be with you all. We hope that what we shared ignites something in you. We'd love to have you spread the word about the course and join yourself. It's a beautiful experience, and we can't wait to facilitate it for our communities. And Jess, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Shannon and Mirjam. I mean, I personally feel transformed just in this last hour. So it's been a beautiful experience. This is such an important course offering during these times. And, it's interesting, the last practice on compassion, and how, Shannon, how you ended up kind of with this view of the earth, because that was coming to my mind a lot during your talk, especially having recently watched, as I imagine many of us have, the Artemis 2 crew returning, and maybe hearing some of their interviews that they've been giving about their experience around the moon, and viewing the earth from a distance, and many different comments, but one of them that sticks with me was about how, what it's like for them to be a crew, but how the sense that actually Earth is a crew, that we are a crew here on Earth. And I feel like that's really the spirit of this talk, that you're, showing us that there's ways for us to work together to do this very, very important work. So thank you for this experience. And at this time, we're going to turn and take some questions, if there are any. And I'd like to remind the audience to use the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen. And we will try to get to as many questions as we can. Let's see here. I think maybe I will kick it off with a first question, and that is, I know there was a pilot course offered this last fall, and was wondering if you'd like to speak to that, or how that was to have the initial group of people go through this course.
Yeah, that was a beautiful experience with a group, mixed group, partly from Europe. And so the depth of connection that happened also through the in-betweens, as we mentioned, the exchange on the platform, sharing about the nature walk experiences, And also creating that space to among each of other and facilitate it in a safe space to share about the deeper emotions that come along in these times for many of us, and depending on where we are and what our story right now is. But to this deepening of compassion occurred thanks to the format and the connection that happened among the participants in the course. And this is really transformative for anything afterwards, because these inner experiences where we are being touched, where we feel connected and know we are not alone in our worries or sometimes anger or confusion, is a fertile field to question beliefs that we have, maybe to dare to ask new questions, to center ourselves again and take care of our own stability, and will that also be of support in the ways we engage and take action. And we all do that in many ways because we all take decisions all day. But hold that space gently together. There's a lot to be learned, also to be unlearned first. And that takes, thanks to this format, really gets a container for doing that together with wisdom and also with compassion and care.
Yeah, wonderful. It's such a different experience to be maybe attempting to work on these things that many people are deeply concerned about individually versus as a group. And it sounds like there's just so much more that can happen when we do things together. I'll address this question to you, Shannon. There's some logistical questions about the course, and one is, it's a virtual course. Do people need to be outside while they're taking it? Or is that not necessary? What is kind of the setup, and also how much time is required, outside of the actual class? I know that this is an 8-week course, 2 hours each session. So it's like a 16-hour course. But yeah, anything more that we should know about the logistics?
Yeah, that's such a great question. Since it is a virtual course, of course, it's online. We always encourage taking laptops outside if that's a possibility in any way, or at least have a window nearby so that you can feel as the participant this connection with nature. But it's not a requirement. As Mirjam mentioned, there are opportunities in between the modules to do nature walks. So there are recordings that are supportive to help individuals go out and do just a short 15, 20-minute nature walk. It's a guided process, so you'll hear a voice guiding you, prompting you through that experience. So there is a lot of support in between the modules. I would say, goodness, I mean, no more than an hour weekly, Mirjam, would you say? Yeah. Some journaling, some reflection, some mindfulness practices. But the majority of time is spent inside with each other in the modules online during those Saturday mornings.
Great. And another question just came in. Will the sessions be recorded if one of them is missed?
That's something we hadn't considered, and I think we certainly can. I don't know that we've recorded in the past just to allow for the freedom of discussion and sharing of emotions and so forth.
Yeah.
So it's not typically something that we record, but we certainly could provide the slides, supportive materials, so that if a session is missed, that one could get up to speed quickly or reach out to Mirjam or I.
Mm-hmm.
And
Wonderful.
we provide the workbook also, which is very detailed in that way, and can record like we did right now here, no? Guided practice, where you can listen to that. You will get that anyway as audio. And maybe also the parts that are more in detail about research, if you want to look that up. But it's very nicely laid out in the workbook and very digestible. So it is an easy but very deep tool, I think, the workbook that you will get.
Great. So there's a workbook that is provided. Is that the journal as well? Okay, great.
Yeah, you can write into it too. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Great. If there are any additional questions, feel free to put those in the Q&A. I did want to mention too, the course is on our website already, and Camber, I know, put that into the chat earlier. Camber, if you could do that one more time, that would be great, just because if anyone joined uh, after the last one, then they don't see that. So thank you. There's a link to the course coming up in the fall. I did want to mention we have one thing we need to change, and that is the end date is later than it says on the website. If you click on it, the main page, we just need to make that change, which we will early next week. But the actual dates are, let me get those for you. It's Saturdays. It's October 3rd through November 21st. And it's Pacific Standard Time is 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. So yeah, we hope you can join us. And when you get the link to this talk, if there's anyone else that you think would like to watch this, please feel free to share this talk that was just given with others.
For Europe,
So,
it's evening. It's 6:30 to 8:30.
6:30 to 8:30
Yeah.
in Europe. Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining us for this Integrative Insider live session. I also want to do a big shout out to Camber, who, organizes all of our events at the Susan Samueli Integrative Health Institute. She's amazing. I know you haven't seen her on here today, but she's always behind the scenes doing a lot to make things happen. So thank you, Camber. Thank you, Mirjam and Shannon, for your beautiful talk. Our next community lecture is June 23rd with doctors Karen Lindsay and Lillian Au, who will be presenting on integrative healthcare for fertility and pregnancy. And more information will be sent through our Integrative Insider monthly emails, which you can subscribe to on our website. And I think, Camber, if you could drop our website in the chat too, it's ssihi.uci.edu. And while you are there, check out our events page as well as the community programs that we hold throughout the year, including CME conferences and community cooking classes in the Musalam Nutritional Educational Kitchen. And we also have our upcoming Women's Wellness Days, a huge event that takes place May 8th through 9th at the Hyatt Regency in Irvine. So we will be emailing everyone on this call a link to the recording and a survey. We really value your input. So please help us improve our community offerings by letting us know what you think. And we thank you again and hope to see you next time. And just hope you all have a beautiful day and that maybe we can all step outside in nature for a bit and, take a deep breath and appreciate our interconnection. So thank you.